Welcome to Skincredible, where we tell you what you should know about your skin and how to glow. 'Cause your skin's incredible.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fun-filled, knowledge-filled episode of the Skincredible podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lisa Swanson. I'm here today with Anna.
Hello.
Hello. I gave a talk recently, and I thought it would make for a great episode of the pod. Because,
I'm excited.
Yes.
I don't ever get to hear you speak on stage.
Well, and I'm not going to
Sure.
lecture it, but I thought it would be a good amount of content to have on the podcast, because we started the podcast to combat misinformation out there.
Yes.
And this particular talk was about what people are reading about eczema on the internet and social media. And so this is really the stuff that we want to kind of stand up. What is fact? What is fiction?
Directly, yeah.
What is myth? What is real? And in putting together the talk, I got a better understanding for like really the depth of what's out there in the, internet world, and did some looking into what's in the science, what's in our literature about some of these things. Is there anything?
I love that.
Because I think the biggest struggle we have being medical clinicians is that when we're talking to patients and their families and we're recommending and discussing a course of treatment, we want to feel confident that what we're recommending is safe and effective. And the way we do that in the medical world is with studies,
Of course.
trials.
Yeah.
We want to see that it's been evaluated in humans, that it was efficacious, that it was well tolerated. And for a lot of the stuff out there that people might talk about on the internet, we simply don't have studies.
Understandable.
And so I did my best to try to find what we did have content on to help us, kind of sort out fact and fiction.
I'm excited because this is all news to me too. And for the audience, just a reminder, I manage all of our social media. So if you're talking to us on social media, it's me. And sometimes I'm checking in with Dr. Swanson, but Dr. Swanson has no involvement. So she's not looking at what people are saying and stuff like that. Usually she's hearing it from her patients or from me or from other doctors.
The most I've ever been on social media was to prepare for this talk. And it was just as an observer. I was just like, okay, what's going on out there? Because social media is not something that I have historically been interested in myself. However, I understand the importance of it.
Sure.
Because that's where folks are getting their information.
Yeah, it's fast, it's easy, snippets. Sometimes you don't get the whole story, but I bet you were grateful not to be on it, though.
I was. Yes. And so it's an important part of us getting good messages out there, kind of trying to dilute the bad.
Of course.
But there were moments where I was doing this deep dive where I was like, I don't know how much deeper I can go. I don't like it. But we'll break down stuff that is out there, which is very important because that's what our patients and their families are reading about.
I'm excited.
Especially when it comes to eczema. When I talk with patients and their families, often I'm reminded of an episode of Parks and Recreation, which I frequently am, reminded of. My hero, Amy Poehler, Leslie Knope.
Yes.
Where she's trying to convince the town of Pawnee that they don't need buckets of sugary soda.
Yeah.
And she said, all I have on my side is facts and science. And people hate facts and science.
So funny.
Because I'm talking to families about like, oh, we have this medicine that was studied in this way here and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes that's not what they're interested in. And I think a big reason why is just the volume of stuff out there.
Yeah.
Like you get on Amazon and search eczema cream.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And the stuff you find is just crazy. So I did that. I went on Amazon and I just typed in eczema cream. And one of the creams I found was called the mother of all creams.
Oh, that sounds very promising as a consumer.
Right? So immediately you're like, that's got to be good.
That's the one.
Right? And on the label, it describes itself as being mildly earthy. And I'm not I'm not sure what that means.
Nope. I don't think anybody knows.
Right? It's like, is there dirt in it? Did they just like grab some dirt? Here's the earth right in the cream. And then I was looking at the reviews because sometimes the reviews of these products are pretty funny.
Yeah.
And there was a review from somebody who said that the product was her savior.
Wow, that's a big statement.
After she was diagnosed with perioral dermatitis, which is not eczema, but still the review is fascinating.
Sure.
She said that she applied it twice a day in combination with oral doxycycline that was prescribed by her dermatologist, and she was all clear in 6 weeks. And I can assure everybody listening that it was the doxycycline that did the heavy lifting there.
But isn't that funny though? I think, back in the day, it was like my grandma told me to put Vicks on everything and rub it on my chest when I'm sick and all the things. And so like social media is now that kind of,
magnified.
It's a lot of anecdotal stuff and a lot of fake stuff out there too.
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately, people are spending a lot of money, but word of mouth is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Which is why we hope the pod will get out more and more.
Mentholatum was my family's Vicks.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of mentholatum?
No. Is that like icy hot or what is that?
No, it's kind of like bag balm.
Oh.
And I don't know. My mom's family had a farm. It's probably something they used on animals.
Sure.
And they were like, I think that's good for humans.
Of course.
And it was like yellow.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. Very thick ointment, yellow, had a very, very
strong
smelly smell.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad smell. Actually, when you're used to using it, you grow to kind of like it.
That Vicks is very nostalgic for me.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. And you know what I do like Vicks for? Vicks makes these little, they almost look like they're going to be a chapstick.
The thing you stick up your nose.
Yes.
They're called inhalers, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I love those things.
I love those.
Oh.
And they're so easy to travel with.
Yes.
And they're great if you're like, oh gosh, is my nose a little snuffly as I'm getting ready to get on a plane? Because I never want to have a hard time clearing my ears.
Yeah.
And so you just do that. It's almost like the smelling salts of old.
Yeah. I have a friend who owns a company in Colorado, actually, and he does CBD stuff and all of that, but he does lavender ones for sleepy time. And I got addicted to them back when he introduced me to them because they're cool. You just stick them. I mean, you don't share them, obviously, or anything like that.
Yeah. You don't want something that's been up your friend's nose.
Probably not.
There's a lot of staph and stuff up there.
Yeah.
Keep your germs to yourself. I think that in general, some of these products that I saw talked about, and we'll dive in.
Yeah.
But some of them were they're probably not going to do anything helpful, but they're probably also not dangerous.
True.
And so if people want to try them, it's okay, they can learn for themselves that maybe it's not a good fit.
Sure.
But what scares me is the power of misinformation in influencing healthcare decisions.
Yeah.
For a patient, for a parent who's managing their child.
Yeah.
This misinformation can be very harmful.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest examples of that, did you watch the Netflix show Apple Cider Vinegar?
No, but I drink that every morning.
Oh my gosh. And I think that's great.
Yeah.
Apple cider vinegar, more power to you. And I like dilute vinegar soaks for impetigo and stuff like that.
Okay.
But this Netflix series called Apple Cider Vinegar was based on a true story of an Australian woman named Belle Gibson, not Mel Gibson. Belle. Like Beauty and the Beast, Belle Gibson, who said that she had stage 4 brain cancer and that she had cured herself with healthy living.
Goodness.
Supplements, eating organic, dietary stuff, that she had cured her brain cancer. And she became very popular on the blogosphere and even had a cookbook and made millions of dollars building this empire on the power of healthy living based on this story of her having cancer. And it turns out she never had cancer. It was all a lie.
No.
And there was a legal case against her in Australia.
As there should be. Goodness gracious.
And she has to pay a fine.
Yeah.
It's a big fine, 410,000 Australian dollars. This was back in 2017. And apparently very little of it has actually been paid because I think as a result of this, like she lost it all in terms of, but she never had to go to jail or anything like that.
And she also made the money and spent it. Like all the money she actually made.
I know. And they convicted her for misleading and deceptive conduct.
Is that a thing in America? That was in Australia, right?
This is Australia.
Oh my goodness. I feel like that's important.
Because when you think about it, that's a lot of what social media is.
Yeah.
It can be very misleading. It can be very deceptive.
Yeah. And now with things like TikTok Shop and stuff, like something can appear to be very reputable and have tons of reviews. Yeah. But like you said, if somebody's taking with doxycycline, like it's funny because they don't even see the doxycycline probably helped you. Yeah. It's like, no, this cream was magic.
Right. I know. Well, and the danger in a story like the Belle Gibson story is that she influenced so many cancer patients in the therapeutic choices that they made. And
people could have died. Oh my goodness.
People died because they're like, oh, okay, if she beat stage 4 brain cancer with this, I can too.
And it's all a lie.
And so
sad.
There's a spectrum of this misleading and deceptive conduct. Belle Gibson is at the most dangerous end of the spectrum. But there are people hovering in this spectrum with the content and information that they're putting out there.
And some we might not even know for a while, right? Like it's like drugs are studied for many years before they actually make it to market. People just think natural is great.
I know.
But I love your analogy of poison ivy being natural.
Yes. Poison ivy is natural. Like not everything natural is okay.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to roll around in a bed of poison ivy.
No thanks.
Some of the stuff I found made me laugh. Some of it was funny.
I can't wait to hear.
Lots of fans of beef tallow out there.
Yes. That's like a cult. Like it has a following.
I think overall with beef tallow, I don't have a problem with it.
Sure. I know we had a doctor that mentioned there might be a theoretical risk of like mad cow.
I know. Peter Leo.
Yeah.
He said, he was so funny. He's like, I'm kind of fringy. So for me to say there might be an issue with this, like that should raise some eyebrows.
We talked about the Loch Ness monster. So
right? Yes. And so overall, if people like beef tallow, I'm like, okay, fine.
Sure.
But interestingly enough, we have talked on the podcast about the danger of microplastics and the danger of what we call petrochemicals.
Yeah.
Chemicals that occur as a result of the oil industry.
Sure.
And Vaseline is a bit in that family. Now, we talked to Dr. Leo Tresande about this.
Yeah.
And he said that overall, he thinks Vaseline is fine. But beef tallow is to the cow industry what Vaseline is to the oil industry. These are byproducts of a manufacturing process.
Okay.
They noticed Vaseline building up around the oil machinery, and the workers found it really helped their hands, their dry hands. Beef tallow is the equivalent of that coming from the cattle industry.
Interesting.
And so if you're anti-Vaseline because of its connection to petrochemicals, beef tallow is also part of this kind of manufacturing stuff.
And it's all probably manufactured differently. I ran into a girl at a coffee shop this week and she was like, what do you do for work? Because she saw me on my computer and I showed her my water bottle. And I was like, follow us. She looked us up and she was like, oh yeah, my kids have eczema and they cured with beef tallow. And so, there's power to the things that people find that work for them and stuff.
Well, and it's a good moisturizer. Just like Vaseline is, just, and so if it's the one people like the most, I'm okay with it. One person put Puppy Cat 53. So no, Puppy Cat 53 was the name of the and it amazed me that that means there's 52 other puppy cats, right?
Potentially, unless there was one and she likes the number 53.
Right.
Yeah.
So Puppy Cat 53 said, my natural treatment is to not scratch ever.
Alrighty.
Which made me giggle. And then
tell that to a child who's like, 6 months old.
Right,
and
right. Not sleeping.
Yeah.
Coffin Sleeper 72.
Like a coffin of death?
Yeah.
Okay.
Coffin Sleeper. Recommended a rag soaked in nettle tea.
There you go.
With a bit of gin on the area.
The gin.
Also drinking a bit of it.
It'll make you forget all your sorrows.
It'll make the eczema.
I mean, we did talk about black tea compresses.
We did.
Black tea, gin,
yeah.
And drink a little. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. And then a lot of it made me sad.
Oh.
You know, like people who have described, you know, I think the one thing that actually resonated with me a lot is that even in social media and online, I think people do understand the plight of having eczema.
Yeah.
And the burden of disease
yeah.
and the life impact.
Yeah.
That is everywhere online. And if one person posts something, there's a lot of people who say, I'm so sorry you're going through that. I went through it. My sister went through it. My kid went through it.
A lot of compassion.
A lot of compassion, a lot of empathy. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think that people need to maybe even appreciate that even more, because I feel like in clinics, sometimes I feel like families are more afraid of the treatment than they are of the condition.
Yeah.
And really kind of bringing to light the suffering that's happening, I think is really important.
For sure.
I saw several posts like, you know, go see a naturopath and stuff. And that made my heart hurt a little bit. I think that they have a place.
Yeah.
And if a naturopath has helped you, wonderful.
Yeah.
But, and I'm completely partial, because I'm a pediatric dermatologist. This is my career.
Sure.
I think that we have more evidence-based practices, and I think you are more likely to experience a better outcome.
And something to be said about you have focused your whole life on studying this one very specific thing. It's like going to a pediatrician versus then you need to, go ahead and see the pediatric dermatologist because your pediatrician has run out of options or whatever the case might be. There is something to be said for a specialist.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we do.
Yeah, every day.
Skin all day, every day. And you get pretty good at it when you're doing it every day. There was an episode of Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard when he had Edward Norton on. And Edward Norton said, people not understanding the difference between an internet search and actual expertise is really a big problem.
Yeah. Especially now with AI.
Exactly.
Whole nother layer.
I mean, it feels like we can get the answers to any questions just by typing it into our phone.
Yeah.
And for easy stuff, absolutely.
Sure.
But for challenging stuff, and the answer that it spits out is based on the question you put in.
Yeah. What if your question's not that good?
Exactly.
Plus, it can't see you. It can't touch you. It can't, sense a fever or a change in your demeanor. There's so much nuance to a human being.
Or what if you think you have eczema, but you have psoriasis?
And you're calling it eczema to the robot.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the robot is spitting out, solutions and explanations for eczema.
Exactly.
But you don't have eczema.
No.
And so I think that, if you need to answer a simple question, these tools are wonderful.
Sure.
I actually think about before the internet, if we just wondered about something, we just lived with the fact that we wouldn't know the answer.
Or you asked your mom or your grandma or your friend or whatever, and they might be wrong and you might just be spitting out incorrect information the rest of your life.
Yeah. I mean, I just think of being a kid on a road trip.
For sure.
All the wonderings that I might have had. And today you have those wonderings, you type them in, you're like, oh, there you go.
That's so true.
You pass a landmark, you're like, how tall is that mountain?
Yeah.
You can Google that and be like, wow, that's what that looks like.
It's too much almost. I feel like it's scary too, because I remember the moment on TV or something, I was like, Mom, what's virginity?
Oh, right.
And I'm like, now kids can go online and ask these questions that I would ask people I trusted. And I'm like, who knows what they're getting? Yeah, geez. Yeah.
Sometimes just for fun, I'll ask AI a dermatology question. that I
How
know
does that
the
go?
answer to. It's very variable.
Inconsistent,
it's
probably.
inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like some of them I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a suitable explanation. I'd be happy if my patients read that. And then some of them are weird.
But again, all the knowledge that lives in your head that
Yeah.
formulates the question
Yeah.
then, you know, like you...
I'm kind of leading the AI.
Yeah, probably, you
So
know.
like when I put a question in there, I'm probably actually, as an individual, more likely to get a more accurate answer.
Probably,
you know?
honestly.
Yeah, it's interesting. So our experts are still our experts.
Yeah.
And even though we have these tools at our disposal to gain more information, still, if you're struggling, like if you do the internet search and you try a few things, like please come to see a dermatologist.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine if you want to start with the internet, but like if you don't achieve success,
Yeah.
you know. The other thing is that there's a whole lot of stuff about topical steroid withdrawal.
Yeah.
Some of the posts about that made me sad because people felt like the doctors they went to didn't acknowledge, downright refuted
I see a lot of that,
the existence of the condition and made them feel unheard and were not helpful.
Yeah.
It's important for the audience to know we now have official diagnostic criteria for topical steroid withdrawal. It's been published and that material is out there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of folks who are doubters of the condition feel like, oh, well, if you're controlling your inflammatory condition with a topical steroid and then you stop it, your condition is going to come back.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And that certainly is true, but topical steroid withdrawal is different from an ordinary like eczema exacerbation.
And it's intense. Like I've seen people
burning.
Whose reaction was way worse than their original condition was.
Yes. And more of like a burning and stinging quality to it than like the itching of like an eczema process. Okay. And I felt bad for all the folks out there that felt like their concerns for topical steroid withdrawal were not appropriately addressed.
Yeah.
And what I told the audience when I gave this talk, because I was speaking to medical professionals, and I was like, even if you still in your head aren't sure about the existence or non-existence of topical steroid withdrawal, if you haven't made up your mind, there are still so many ways that we can help these patients, and we shouldn't fight about the existence or non-existence, and we shouldn't make them feel bad about it.
Yeah.
I am a believer in topical steroid withdrawal syndrome. I don't think it happens to everybody who's ever used a topical steroid, but I have seen it in my clinic.
Yeah.
I do think it exists. But even for those that are doubters, we have 3 wonderful non-steroid topicals that can help.
Yeah.
And particularly one of them, topical Opzelura, that's what I've used when I'm dealing with a patient with topical steroid withdrawal because it works super, super fast.
Good to know.
Fast like a steroid, but without being a steroid and is wonderful for those sorts of things. So even if you in your mind are like, gosh, I'm still just not sure, still be empathetic.
Yeah.
Still be helpful.
Yeah.
We have the tools in our toolbox to help patients with this. So even if you're somebody that's just like, I don't know if it exists. Just be like, I'm here for you, you know?
Yeah. And as a patient, that goes a really long way in building that trust. And honestly, that's that trust that's going to allow them to follow your direction in the future. I've experienced that with doctors where they're just like, you're getting older, take Advil, do this. And then I finally found somebody who like looked into it for half a second and found something.
Yeah. And so to those listening who are medical professionals, like, again, even if you're like, gosh, I'm just not sure, use one of these non-steroid topicals. Talk even about our systemic non-steroids for the treatment of eczema. There are ways we can help. And we need to just always be empathetic to our patients because that helps build the relationship. And by building the relationship, you maintain the relationship and you're able to eventually get people better.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's really what matters. Other general recommendations, just kind of a hodgepodge list. Magnesium
orally,
supplements, which
there's like glycinate, citrate. There's so many types.
So many different mags.
Like one's for like sleep and one's for like I don't know. They're all
to
poop.
Yeah. In fact, the abbreviation of magnesium on the periodic table is Mg, and in medical school, I remembered that as must go. Because like magnesium makes you poop. Vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin B6. I think That's fine.
Take all the vitamins.
No, that's fine. Take a multivitamin. I haven't seen any solid data that those vitamins particularly help eczema, but
Sure.
I'm also pro nutrition. And
Yeah.
so, I will say, I think it's always better to try to get your nutrition from a food.
Yeah.
If it's a child and they're just not good at eating vegetables or whatever, or if they're 47 and not good at eating vegetables, then a vitamin is fine, but it's going to be much better absorbed if you take it in naturally. Zinc, spend a moment on that in a moment. Omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids can kind of moisturize your skin from within. In fact, sometimes patients who are on Accutane, some people believe that if they take an omega-3 fatty acid, it will improve their dryness.
That's interesting because Accutane is intense dryness.
Yeah.
So is it like the omega-6 or 9 or 3 or all omega of them? Or okay.
Is what was specifically, and this is the internet, but that's also what we recommend for our Accutaners. Okay.
Yeah, but you're saying there's science behind the omega-3 potentially, or not necessarily?
In Accutaners, you mean?
Yeah, like just from your perspective, like do you ever?
I don't recommend it.
Sure.
Not that it's bad.
No, yeah.
But like some people do.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are also recommending omega-3 because a patient has high triglycerides on Accutane.
Gotcha.
And that helps bring them down.
That makes sense.
Calendula. Please don't use calendula.
Is that like a root or a plant or something?
It's like a natural, it's very fragrant.
Okay.
A lot of contact dermatitis potential.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Again, in a lot of the things I read, it hovers between like safe, but probably not going to help much. Safe, but might help some. We'll talk about those things. And then like, oh, please don't do. And calendula
gonna hurt
is
you.
a please don't do.
Okay.
Please don't do. Coconut oil. We'll talk a little bit more about. Coconut oil has actually been studied in eczema and was found to be neither pro nor con. Okay. So if people like it, I'm like, go for it.
Sure.
Stress reduction.
For everything. It'll heal you.
I mean, sure. Eczema commonly flares with stress. Well established.
Makes sense.
But to just kind of tell people like live a stress-free life, that's a hard recommendation to make.
Do better.
Just do better. Probiotics. More on this in a moment.
Okay.
Homemade salves.
Oh, your favorite.
So many of these.
The recipe's vary greatly, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. And they often have so much junk in them. Usually the base is pretty good. It's like a lanolin or a beef tallow or
beeswax I've seen.
Yeah. That's fine. But then they like throw a bunch of other junk in it
especially fragrances and stuff. Oh.
Yes. And then so many comments when talking about these homemade salves about like, my neighbor gave me this. My grocer gave me this. My mailman gave me this.
They won't trust anything you give them with like an actual detailed list of ingredients, but they'll take something from the mailman.
But also like, I was taught as a child, like, don't take stuff from strangers. and don't take things from strangers and then eat it. Don't take things from strangers and put it on your body. But people are like, I'll take that from you.
That's so funny.
I mean, yeah. And then diet changes. We'll talk a little bit about elimination diets, but some of the things that I saw: avoid processed sugar, avoid seed oils, gluten, dairy. For gluten, there really is no evidence on gluten and atopic dermatitis. But if you have a gluten sensitivity, of course, avoid gluten. Dairy can cause issues with little teeny babies under the age of 1 who have bad eczema and bloody diarrhea. That's a dairy protein allergy. It typically is not an issue for an older person. And then recommend avoiding ultra-processed snacks, wine, cheese, canned fish. Who eats canned fish?
I do.
You do? Like
yeah, to get my protein. Sometimes I do sardines, and then sometimes I'll do tuna, but I don't love tuna. I did crab this week. Less so probably since you started talking about the plastic stuff. Like I don't think I'll be doing it as much.
Yeah.
And it sits in the heat and stuff.
Yeah.
But to meet my protein goal, I get very creative.
Yeah. And then things that seemed like good things on the internet: fermented foods, coconut yogurt, miso, kimchi, sauerkraut. I do believe that helps repopulate good flora.
I love kimchi. Yeah, in my brain it is, not in my scientific opinion.
And so I think that's healthy. Those are healthy recommendations.
Sure.
I'm not sure how much it'll help a person's eczema, but those
Sure.
are healthy recommendations. Yeah. And then prebiotic foods like chia seeds, sweet potatoes, leeks, and asparagus.
Okay.
Like, yeah. Again, I think that's great. I'm not sure how much it'll help your eczema, but I think that's great.
Yeah. Sweet potato never killed anybody.
Right. I like sweet potatoes.
I love sweet potatoes.
And then diving in deeper to a few of those, zinc supplementation.
Yeah.
So there were several randomized control studies that were combined in a meta-analysis where they looked at all the results of zinc supplementation for eczema patients.
Okay.
They didn't really find much.
Oh.
Overall, they said no significant improvement.
Sure.
They did say that all the studies were of low or moderate quality, so not the best studies, but really didn't see much to merit zinc supplementation for the treatment of atopic dermatitis.
Okay.
However, they did comment that it is reproducible that people who have eczema have lower zinc in their serum, in their blood, in their hair, and in their red blood cells.
So even though it shows on labs, supplementation might not necessarily
correct it,
make it better.
Or like,
but could that be an absorption thing? Who knows? I don't know. That's interesting.
Or like there's such a thing as like association without causation.
Sure.
You know?
Okay.
And so, maybe just metabolically, patients with atopic dermatitis don't get enough of the zinc into these, areas.
I have to remember that when I'm listening to a podcast that's like, this showed this, because I'm like, sometimes it's easy as the listener to assume, causation and forget that, that just means it was associated. It doesn't necessarily mean more than that.
Right. Yes.
I'm guilty as charged.
The classic example is like you see a study on lung cancer and it says, 80% of people with lung cancer carry a lighter in their pocket. So we think the lighters cause lung cancer. That's association, but not causation. Of course, they're carrying the lighter because they're going to light their cigarette. And that's what contributes. Yeah. That was always the classic example taught in medical school.
It's a good one.
The one thing I will say about zinc supplementation, one of our previous guests, Dr. Mark Sirota, he said that sometimes he'll throw a zinc supplement at eczema.
Yeah.
He did say that. So,
and it probably can't hurt.
Right. Yeah. I think maybe before I did it, I would maybe do a blood test and check a serum zinc,
Yeah.
Just to see where they're at.
Yeah. And then you have something to compare it to.
Yeah. Natural therapies that have been studied.
Okay.
Olive oil has been studied, worsens eczema, should be avoided.
Not good.
Black tea compresses, as we've talked about before, good for facial dermatitis.
Good.
CBD, the jury is still out. I think it probably does help. I think it probably has anti-itching and anti-inflammatory properties. Biggest issue, all the other junk in the product.
And not only the product, even the plant can be grown so differently. The soil, the chemicals, the fertilizers, there's so much involved even before it gets to processing it into cream or whatever. That
it's hard to have the quality control that I think we would prefer, especially when we're thinking about applying it to a child's skin.
Yeah. And then recommending it to a bunch of people. Yeah.
Because children's skin absorbs more than adult skin too.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So you want to be careful in everything you put on a child. And so CBD, I think it probably does help, but just we're still in search of a good, reliable product. Coconut oil we talked about neither pro nor con. And then sunflower seed oil does appear to help with eczema. But again, this is a situation where it's difficult to find a good preparation. One that I'll tell folks about is from Aroma Workshop in Chicago. They worked in conjunction with Peter Leo, friend of the pod, and they make a spray on sunflower seed oil. Last time I checked, it was $22, $8 for shipping.
We can relink all of that.
Yeah. And it's just, you just call them up and say, I'd like it, and no prescription needed. The other thing I saw was just so many complex, expensive regimens. So many. There was one gentleman who does this podcast, and he talks about eczema and getting to the root of the inflammation and all this kind of stuff. We're going to talk about the root, but I took screenshots of, because he included every product he mentioned, he included at the bottom of the thing, and there were discount codes for them, which means two things. Number one, it means that he's in cahoots with these people.
Probably making money or something. Yeah.
Enough to offer coupons.
Yeah.
Number two, if you added up the cost of all of this.
Gosh, so expensive.
Oh my gosh, so expensive. So while like looking at the list, there's probably not anything necessarily like dangerous.
Yeah.
But so expensive and like
Yeah.
probably minimally helpful.
Yeah, probably unnecessary.
Right? And so that it hurt me for the sake of people's pocketbooks.
Yeah, of course.
The other thing, elimination diets.
Yes.
So they're everywhere. People are saying
FODMAP, all the things.
I eliminated this, I eliminated that. So I think in general, if people are thinking about an elimination diet, I encourage them to see an allergist for appropriate evaluation and testing, especially if this is a child. Because number one, kids with eczema have growth issues already.
Yeah.
We don't want to be restricting nutrition.
Of course.
Number two, maybe there's a zinc thing and we don't want to be withholding, things.
Yeah.
Number three, avoidance early in life of certain foods is actually linked to an increased risk of food allergy.
Which is crazy. I learned that from you. And I'm like, you don't want to literally cause the opposite on accident. But there's so many people who do avoid because it's scary.
Mm-hmm. And then number four, it's rarely helpful. There are two exceptions in the pediatric space. Number one, kids who have a flare-up within 30 minutes of eating said food.
Okay.
Now, the interesting thing with that is that a typical food allergy is what we call IgE-mediated. Food-triggered eczema is not IgE-mediated. It's a different immunologic process.
Interesting.
If you avoid that food, it actually increases the chance that you'll get an IgE food allergy. And IgE food allergies are the ones that could lead to anaphylaxis.
Oh, no.
So even allergists who see patients who have this food-driven eczema, they'll still encourage little bits of said food. Not a ton. You don't want to, flare up eczema all the time, but just to keep it kind of in their diet.
Yeah.
So the second exception is the little teeny babies that I told you about who are less than 1 year of age, who have widespread eczema, bloody diarrhea. That's a dairy protein allergy.
Okay.
Typically, the kids outgrow that too.
Oh,
so
that's
it's a
good.
problem early on, but typically they do outgrow it.
Can kids be allergic to their mom's milk? I think I've heard of that. Or is it just truly to a cow milk situation?
So it would not be to their mom's milk. It would just be to the dairy protein.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there is dairy protein in a mom's milk?
Very little.
Question.
You know, if she was eating a diet exclusively of dairy.
Oh, okay. So what
maybe
she's eating might affect
enough dairy protein to trigger it.
Okay.
But they've even done studies that so if early introduction of foods reduces the risk of food allergy, like peanut, for example.
Yeah.
If we encourage moms while breastfeeding to eat a whole lot of these highly allergenic foods, can we reduce the risk of kids having allergies to those foods? No.
Okay.
There's simply not enough of it that's transferred to the baby.
Interesting.
To induce tolerance. So it's really all about the infant eating the food themselves. Eventually, once they get to the point of integrating solid foods.
Yeah.
So, and some of these people are just limiting themselves so much. For one person, she eliminated dairy, sugar, alcohol, citrus fruits, veggies, sesame, spicy foods, bread, pasta. I'm like, what are you eating?
Yeah.
What are you eating? And so, so I think if you're thinking, is a food causing my eczema, go to see an allergist before you do any sort of elimination diets. I think that's the take-home point.
Can you imagine if somebody asked Dr. Lisa Swanson to stop eating cheese?
Oh my God, never. Couldn't do it.
You would unfriend that person immediately.
Yeah. I'd be like, I'll live with this rash.
Yeah.
I'll live with it. There's a pediatrician in Chicago that coined this wonderful phrase, through the skin, allergies begin. Through the diet, allergies stay quiet.
Yeah.
So we want to introduce the foods. We understand now that eczema is actually the portal of entry for allergens. And so the best way to prevent food allergies, treat the child's eczema.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's getting in there and interacting with the immune system in the first place. Oh, getting to the root of it is a common theme.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of misinformation as far as these posts. A lot of what I would call fluffy language.
Yeah.
a lot of
like
fluffy,
mildly earthy.
Yeah. And a lot of fluffy language that is even referring to like science, which was mind-boggling to me. The one thing is that we are getting closer to identifying what factors actually do cause eczema. Certainly genetics sets the stage, right? We inherit genes from our parents that make us more vulnerable to something like eczema and asthma and all that kind of stuff. But then something turns it on in early baby life, particularly the first 6 months.
And that's being studied, like, to figure that part out?
Yes. And we have observed certain trends.
Cool.
So babies born via vaginal delivery have a lower incidence of eczema than C-section babies.
Fascinating.
Babies who are breastfed have a lower incidence than formula-fed babies.
Wow.
Babies who are in the NICU longer, it reduces their risk of eczema.
That part is so confusing.
Right? Expectant moms who take oral probiotics a month before they have the baby to 3 months after they have the baby reduces the risk of eczema in the baby by 25%.
Wow.
Early moisturizing in a baby reduces the risk of eczema in the baby. And so what all of this information is telling us, we have like pieces of the puzzle. We don't have the whole kit and caboodle, but it's telling us that flora matters on the skin and in the GI tract in early baby life. And one day we'll have solid recommendations to tell people to help avoid eczema and reduce your risk.
Exciting.
We're not there yet.
Sure.
You know, it's not like we're going to keep all babies in NICUs. And sometimes a baby needs to be delivered via C-section.
Yeah.
Sometimes a baby needs to be fed with formula.
Of course.
These things happen. But it's giving us information about like, okay, this is telling us that flora is key. How can we make that better? Acupuncture and Chinese medicine.
Okay.
Chinese medicine, I would say, has a healthy amount of pros and cons out there.
Okay.
You have like 50% of people saying, this is wonderful, changed my life, did a great job. And then you have a bunch of people saying, I wasted a lot of money on this and it didn't help me. I think if people want to try it and they don't mind spending the money, you know, I wouldn't give it forever, maybe like 3 months to see if it does anything before pouring more resources down that pathway. Acupuncture. So there is something that's relatively established in the literature, which is acupressure of the Li11 spot on the arm.
Do you know where that is?
Yes. So, and I have a picture. So it says, how to find Li11. Flex your arm at a 90-degree angle so the crease of the elbow is clearly visible. So like right here. Okay. Find the outer end of that elbow crease. Right here. Okay. Feel for the dip. Press into the small hollow spot located right between the end of the crease and the outer elbow bone. Okay, I found mine. Right there. Like right there.
Maybe I'm too chubby.
No.
I don't have one of those.
And interesting, they call this, I don't know how to pronounce it, Quchi, Quchi. That's the other name of the Li11. And it means pool at the bend.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's just like a little bullet. And Dr. Leo has done some studies on this about evening parental acupressure right there.
They're going to massage it?
Like a little kind of massage of it, yeah. So I think, you know, if you want to do that, I think that's great.
Yeah.
There was a meta-analysis of acupuncture for atopic dermatitis that I found in our literature. It was published in the British Medical Journal, so a reputable journal. They included 8 studies, and they looked at various outcomes in terms of efficacy. And the conclusion was that acupuncture might be effective.
Question mark.
Right. But due to the limited quantity and quality of the included studies, like, we don't know.
I get sad when I read a study and it's like, actually, like, this may not have been the best study or whatever, because I'm like, what's the point of doing a whole study if it just can't be used?
I think it's mostly, sometimes those things are published as like a call to action.
Okay, like, do more studies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Probiotics.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that oral probiotics taken by an expectant mother can reduce the risk of eczema in the baby.
Yeah.
Using a probiotic in a person with eczema, according to the studies I've read and the information I've learned from Peter Leo, has not been shown to be beneficial.
Okay.
However, there are people online who talk about it. And some of the people online discussed a brand called Skincredible.
Ooh.
And I went to their website.
Okay.
And they sell their product probiotic for adults. They also sell one for kids.
Okay.
They do list the ingredients, which I am a fan of. you wouldn't believe, like families come in and they tell me about a product and I'm like, well, I just want to know what's in that. And you search and you search and you search. And on the websites and on Amazon, they like hide the ingredients.
Interesting.
Very hard. But they're very open about their ingredients. It has 5 species of probiotic. And in reading about probiotics for AD, these are the ones that we have reason to believe maybe are effective.
Oh, good to know.
So, and they're not terribly expensive. One-time purchase, $59 for a 1-month supply. If you subscribe and save, it's $49 each. So not terribly expensive, and I think seems safe. They do have a pediatric version, which is chewable.
Oh, nice.
Which I like that too.
Yeah.
And it says kid-approved taste. And they have a quote from Lena, age 10, that says, tastes better than Smarties.
Oh, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like if there was a family that I saw tomorrow in clinic who was curious about probiotics, I think I would mention Skincredible.
Okay.
My one question to them, and Skincredible, if you're listening, so on their website, they said that it's proven safe and effective in 2 double-blind placebo-controlled studies in dermatology clinics. And they said that 92% of patients saw a reduction in their itchy skin. 9 out of 10 achieved clear, healthy skin. I've never seen this published.
Yeah.
Like, how many patients were included?
Sure.
Were there, 10?
Yeah.
So they say that they have some kind of relative clinical trial data, but
it's not on their website or anything.
Where is this published?
Yeah, okay.
Was it published in a peer-reviewed journal?
Yeah.
Was it published at all?
That's a good question.
Was it a poster at a conference? That would give some validity to it.
Okay.
So if Skincredible is listening, I'd love just a little bit more on that.
Yeah.
When you look at meta-analyses of whether or not probiotics help atopic dermatitis, the overall consensus is modestly.
Okay.
Modestly. And there was one meta-analysis where they reviewed 14 randomized controlled trials. Their conclusion suggests that probiotic supplementation may be associated with modest improvements in atopic dermatitis. So it says, therefore, probiotics should remain as a potential adjunctive option, warranting further research.
You're never going to use them by themselves, but you could try.
And I would also say, I'm a big fan of a healthy gut.
Yeah.
So,
in general,
a probiotic, especially one that's clear about their ingredients and stuff, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Adjunctively, maybe I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket, but, I'm cool with that being a part of the thing. And then there are a few posts and comments about the staph connection and the skin microbiome.
Okay.
And I do think this is very real. I think some of the things out there on the internet are less real as it pertains to this issue, but I think that this is real. We know that our skin has normal flora. We know that in a person with eczema, that flora is different and that there is more Staph aureus in there. We know that with good treatment, we can bring that flora back to that of a normal skin person. We don't know which is first, the chicken or the egg. Is the flora change causing the barrier dysfunction and immune system hyperactivity? Or is the barrier change and immune system hyperactivity contributing to the change in flora? I do, however, believe that the Aron Regimen and its magical properties, this is my theory and hypothesis. I have nothing to back it up.
Yeah.
But I think it works as well as it does because restoring normal flora.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's how it works.
Interesting.
Because when you look at the concentration of the active ingredients in the Aron Regimen, it's so dilute.
Yeah.
It's 8/9 moisturizer.
Yeah.
There's not enough of steroid or topical antibiotic to really, impact seemingly, but then the results are miraculous.
Do you think the flora is being restored by way of moisturizing and restoring the skin barrier, or?
I mean, yes and no. We don't really see that level of improvement with simple moisturizer.
Sure.
So
but you did say they apply it more or potentially?
Well, so you can apply it anywhere from once a day to 5 times a day.
Yeah.
And there are some families that are trying to Vaseline 5 times a day.
Sure,
or
that's true
Aquaphor
too.
Or beef tallow, So I don't think it's purely moisturizing.
Gotcha.
But I think that little bit of steroid and that little bit of antibiotic is just kind of resetting the normal homeostasis.
Nice.
And comment on the Aron Regimen in case you're a new listener to the pod. So it's a compounded mix of 3 ingredients: betamethasone valerate, mupirocin, a lot of moisturizer, either Vanicream if you wanted a cream base or Plastabase if you wanted an ointment base. And they're mixed together in a 1/2 pound tub, safe to apply up to 5 times a day. Very, very, very effective. Safe for any age group, particularly good for babies and toddlers with really bad cheekies. I use that all the time for that. And an important reminder about the Aron Regimen: needs to be compounded. Some people do a DIY. They prescribe the components, have the families mix. It doesn't work. It creates a weird texture, weird formulation, and doesn't work. And so I think flora is important, and I think that's how the magic of Aron Regimen works. I think hypochlorous acid works for so many things because of normalization of flora.
Interesting.
So I'm a big fan of hypochlorous acid, and don't let acid make you feel like, oh, it sounds harsh, very gentle. And then Zenzima. We haven't talked about Zenzima on the pod because it's new. It just happened. It's over the counter. You could buy it on the Zenzima website, and it's a spray, and it helps relieve itch and inflammation of atopic dermatitis. No steroids in it.
Nice.
Over the counter. And their proposed mechanism of action is normalization of flora.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Does it have hypochlorous acid in it?
No, it doesn't. It has a different technology. Cool. I think they call it bacteriophage.
Okay.
And they talk about balancing things at the microbiome level.
Okay. Have you watched Project Hail Mary?
Yeah.
This reminds me of the astrophage.
I know. I loved that movie.
That was a good one. I actually read the book first.
Yeah.
And then I watched the movie. It was pretty good.
I heard the book is like extra sciencey, but good.
The book was so good. I don't like extra sciencey books. It was so good.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I now will tell my boyfriend Larry, like if he's heading off to do something, I say words of encouragement, like Rocky says. And Ryan Gosling's like, he's like, words of great encouragement or something like that. Words of strong encouragement.
I love it.
The other thing that I learned from reading through all of this is just the way we communicate things is so important.
Yeah.
And I think we can take tips from what resonates on social media and the internet and integrate them into our practices.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of it is the wordsmithing of it all.
Yeah.
And like making these things sound so great.
Yeah.
By using pretty words.
Yeah.
Like, balancing and restoring and enriching and homeostasis and synergy.
Yeah. That's one of the things I love about you, I think, is that you're not like too prideful or not humble enough to be like, we can take some of this and make it good, and we can listen to people and we can adapt, and as long as it's not hurting somebody, we can listen to what the patients are feeling. And I think that's all good, because I think there's a lot of distrust between patients and providers, and I think the internet fuels that sometimes, and they're just like, ooh, doctors are making money from all the prescriptions they're writing, and there's all this misinformation out there, and
which is not true, by the way. That's not how it works.
And if
the doctor gets nothing for
exactly.
Yeah.
And if we could just like build that friendship gap of just like, we are all people, and like doctors are in it because they want to help people. That's literally why most of them got into medicine, because they have some bills, let me tell you, about their medical schooling. Yeah. They have a lot of money to pay. And I'm just like, I wish there was a better understanding of just like, we're all human beings. We're trying to do the best we can. And I appreciate that about you.
I did my residency at Mayo Clinic, where the motto is the best interest of the patient is the only interest to be considered.
It's lovely.
And I truly try to live that every day.
I know you do. And you do a great job.
But, I think it fascinates me just how much these things kind of draw people in. And I think a lot of it is the words.
Yeah. The emotions, the words. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we can use that for good.
For good.
Yeah. So using things like a holistic approach to the management, promoting homeostasis and balance, improving vitality, improving well-being, talking about bringing things into harmony.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, that is what you're doing. So,
Yeah. It's all true.
Yeah.
But I think the way we explain things is a true marker of like how everything's going to go.
Yeah.
If we talk about things in a way that's going to be appealing and draw people in, we're going to get better results.
Agreed.
Than if we speak too aggressively or like with the topical steroid withdrawal, if we seem to be like
dismissive.
Yeah. We're partners in a care plan.
Yeah.
My only goal is to help you and your child live a better life. That's the only thing I'm thinking about. And taking even like a complementary approach where it's like, okay, well, let's do a little bit of this medicine stuff over here and let's do a little bit of this other stuff over here. Of
course.
Just to try to balance it all.
I love that.
In the spirit of balance.
That's right. Harmonious.
Harmonious. And so that is my deep dive into eczema on the internet.
I love it. This was great. You really did do some research there.
I did. At moments I was just sitting at the table like, oh boy. And there were a lot of people where I felt so tempted to like,
how do I get a hold of you?
Can I talk to you?
Yeah.
Because I want you to be able to eat fruits and vegetables. That's the story.
Wonderful.
We're sticking to it.
I love it.
Thank you all for joining us. I hope you've learned something, and so that you can, if you're a clinician, you can go into clinic and talk to your patients in an effective way. And you've gotten a behind the scenes look as to what they're reading about before they even come to see you.
And now you know what Dr. Swanson does when she's not with us or with her patients. She's out there educating the world.
Yes. And if you're a patient or a person or a family member of somebody with eczema, hopefully you got a little bit of information from this as to what's true, what's not true, what's harmful, what's harmless, what might be harmless but expensive.
Yeah.
So hopefully we've helped you sort through all that as well. Please keep watching, keep listening, keep liking, subscribing, keep telling everybody about the pod because we'll keep the good content coming. Thank you for tuning in.
That's right. Bye.